Hi, Donald. How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm just feeling a little anxious today.
Well, I'm glad you came, and it's nice to see you. What's been going on?
It hasn't been going good. I just started this new job and it's just a lot of new information and I'm not being trained properly. I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to succeed, and it's with my dream job, but now I'm just thinking they are setting me up for failure and I just feel very anxious about the whole thing, my performance and being able to keep this job for the next my for the next 3 months.
Right, that sounds very stressful. Every day
Yeah.
going to work feeling that way.
Yeah.
And how have you been doing in regards to taking the Xanax?
Well, I've been taking the 30 milligram. It's not really working. It's not doing much. I'm still very anxious. I'm sweating at work. My heart is beating fast. I feel like the room closing in on me. I don't know. It's not working.
So when you take the Xanax, it's not working.
No, it's not like before. It's just no. I need
Well,
more.
taking Xanax is not sustainable, Donald, and it's something called growing a dependence on it. Do you know anything about being dependent upon a drug at all? Have you ever heard of any of that sort of thing?
I heard of it, but I don't think that's the case here. I really don't think that's the case. Just need something stronger. I need to keep my job. I can't lose my job. I have a family to support and I'm not dependent. I just need it to function for my job.
I hear you. It sounds like you feel very stuck in how you feel, and that without taking the medicine, it makes you upset and stressed because it helps you. Have you ever been in a situation before, Donald, where you feel pressure or stress and you didn't have medication? And can you remember a time in life that you've had that feeling before, and what you did maybe to not feel that way?
I've been on Xanax for so long. Maybe when I was a teenager and you know was dealing with, I don't know, if I had to present something for school, I just imagined that the room was empty. That worked for me. But that was a long time ago, and I don't know now that I can cope without the Xanax because it's been so long.
I hear you, and I understand how you feel very stuck and stressed. But that's an interesting comment that you feel that if you think a different way, that there's a possibility you may not feel as stressed. Can you describe, Donald, how you actually feel before you want to take medicine, the Xanax? What is it that you feel?
I just feel like I'm losing control. Like I'm just so scared. I'm sweating, and I feel like everyone can tell. Everyone knows that I'm so bad at my job, and I'm not competent to do this job. And that's just how I feel right before. And even before I walk into the to work, that's how I feel. And I take my Xanax, and it used to work before, but now it's just barely working.
That's because when you start taking this type of medication, you do develop a resistance to it sometimes, and you do require more, which is why it's not sustainable to continue to take it as much because it won't be as effective. Can you imagine, um, Donald, thinking about what it would be like without taking it? How you would feel? What would be different? If you didn't need to take it, what would it look like for you?
I mean, I guess I out of not depend on it so much. I'm just very afraid that everything's gonna spiral out of control and I'm gonna lose control of my life.
No, I hear that very loud and clear, that you are very stressed about the thought of not having some medication to take
Yeah.
in order to perform at this job that you need very much. Well, what would you like to see different in this situation?
Uh, I would like to see. I would like to see where I am at with the Xanax for it to work, you know, and eventually maybe, find other ways to cope.
Okay,
That's
well
that's that's my long-term goal.
okay, and you know what? You're very courageous to be open about how you feel.
Yeah,
And I hear you saying you want to change, but it's very hard to even think about that
yeah.
because of the level of stress you're feeling. Um, so if I were to give you a number, assign a number to how you feel about wanting to change, the motivation you feel for wanting to change, and 10 is the most motivated and 1 is the least motivated, how motivated do you feel at this point to want to change this behavior?
I would say maybe about 5.
Okay, that's fair. So, one of the things we can consider here is rather than stopping the medication completely, we could potentially half the amount that I give you. And this way we'll slowly change and we'll slowly adjust and adapt to a new way of coping with your stress. How does that sound?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I guess I can try it, but we'll see.
Well, I feel like you could probably achieve this goal. It's attainable, okay? And I think you can, but in time. And
Okay.
as you want to change, as you want to make the adjustments in your day to day thinking, we will go with how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we did talk about, in summary, how thinking about something that is calming in your mind, like before you go to work, before you step in that office, maybe you can consider thinking about thoughts that calm you. So when you walk through that door, you don't feel as anxious. And the need to and rev it up, and the need to start to take the Xanax. So that's just one option of thinking about things differently. And the whole goal is so we don't have to be dependent. You don't have to be dependent, Donald, on the Xanax. Okay. And I also hear you saying that it's a very frightening and stressful thought because you need this job, and you need to continue working. There are other things maybe that you can, as we go along, that you can consider that might reduce the stress that
Yeah.
I'd like you to think about as well.
Okay. Okay.
All right, well, we'll do that this week. I will reduce the amount of medicine that I prescribe, the Xanax. And next week, we'll start talking about more ways that we can think about to reduce your stress at the job. And again, I think these goals are very achievable and attainable, Donald. It just will go at your pace.
Okay. I'll try.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you
Thank you.
next week.
See you next week.